thank you for everything, Lord God. Lord God, just bless us to be encouragement, Lord God, this building, Lord God. Lord God, you has been a good God, Lord God. I want to say thank you, Lord God. Lord God, just bless everybody to learn something, Lord God. Lord God, I want to say thank you, Lord God. Just bless everybody to grow up and be successful in me and a young women, Lord God. I want to say thank you. Jesus name, amen.
Amen. All right, amen.
Peggy Cole's basketball career went full circle as she began playing the game of basketball in Carthage. She finished up coaching the game in Carthage. She made several stops along the way. She was also inducted as former Women's Professional Basketball League member as part of the Hall's display, Trailblazers of the Game by the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Knoxville, Tennessee. She played 3 seasons from 1978 to 1981. Her playing career included playing on the back-to-back national championship teams and earning All-American honors at Panola College. She finished her career at Texas A&M. She was a 2-time All-American and also played on the national teams. She signed with the Nebraska Wranglers, who won the WBL's final title in 1980 to 1981 season, beating Nancy Lamberman and the Dallas Diamonds. Pope also served as an assistant coach and a recruiting coordinator at both Rice and Houston before becoming the head coach at Texas Southern. She was also an assistant coach with the Detroit Stars of the WNBA. She spent 17 years as the coach at Carthage, retiring in 2013. Pope is both the Panola College and the Texas A&M Hall of Honors. In fact, she was the first Black player at Texas A&M. The WNBL induction by the Hall is in addition to the class of 2018. Let's show Ms. Pope our appreciation by a round of applause. Retha Swindell brought a different kind of swag into the WBL as an agile, athletic defensive specialist. As a rebounder, shot blocker, and adept at stealing the ball, Retha literally altered the landscape by making these opponents the deciding factors in many close games. While defensively inclined, Retha was also a dynamic number 1 by the Chicago Hustle. Retha stayed at Texas to get her college degree before joining the team. When she arrived, the impact was immediate, and she was a game changer. Retha would finish her professional career with the Dallas Diamonds when she helped lead the team to the WBL finals at the collegiate level. Her deadly combination was in full force at the University of Texas, where she is the only player in the school's history to score 15,000 points, 1795, and collect 15,000 rebounds, 1759. She still holds this record and numerous others at Texas' first African-American female basketball player. Retha went on to coach at the high school level and has the awesome distinction of coaching WNBA legend Teresa Witherspoon. Her accomplishments are 1978 USA Basketball Select Team, NWIT All-American, 2001 University of Texas Hall of Fame, all rebounding. Let's show Ms. Swindell our appreciation by a round of applause.
Debra K. Thomas. DK came into the WBL after excelling at a junior college and Division I college levels. She quickly got the spot with the lower Hornets and became a mainstay for the first 2 years of the league. DK helped guide the Hornets to consecutive division championships and were the runners-up to the first-year league champions Houston Angels and the second-year champions New York Stars. An athletic, transitational player and refined offense scorer in the half-court became a premier player in the league. Her calm demeanor believed her over a desire to punish other team, whether scoring, rebounding, or defending. DK attended Panola College during a time when most JCs competed and beat Division I schools. This is where she honored her skills and rewrote the record books at Panola. She went on to play for Stephen F. Austin and became one of the most decorated players as well. DK was an integral part of Lower Corners machine. That was one of the nominated teams for the first 2 years of the WBL. Accomplishments: NJCAA All-American, SFA's first league Panola to the AIAW National Tournament, Wade Trophy finalist in his first year of existence. Let's show Mrs. Thomas our appreciation by a round of applause.
Come on, y'all, one more time. Give it up for all of our announcers. There we go. That sounds fun. I like it. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I know that you guys are in camp, so Coach, thank you for allowing the ladies to come and to hang out here with us just for a few moments. A few years ago, I had a friend of mine who purchased a Bentley. And he called me and he said, man, you got to come take a ride with me after he bought it. And I said, sure, man, let's go. So I went and got in the car. It was a very, very, very nice car. And we were in the Bentley and we pulled up at a Burger King. How ironic is that? We pulled up at a Burger King and we said, let's just run in and grab a sandwich. So we ran in and we went inside, we ordered the sandwich, and we were just waiting on the food to be delivered. And a group of boys, African-American boys, they pulled up in the parking lot and they saw the car. And we could tell that they were admiring the car. They were walking around, they were looking at it, they were amazed at the vehicle. And so they were looking at it and they were walking into the store looking back at the car. So when they walked in the store, it was clear that they were trying to figure out who owned the car. And so they were walking in, they were looking around, and there was a few people in there, and they was like, no, I don't think that's him. And I could just hear them I could hear them talking. And so after they had looked at everybody else in the building, they kind of ruled everybody else out. One of the guys walked over to us and said, excuse me. And we was like, yeah, what's up? And he said, is that y'all's car out there? And my friend was like, he's like, yeah. And he's like, man, I told you that was their car. I told you. And they were so surprised. They were so surprised to see that a minority, as it were, could own a vehicle like that. And so my friend looked at the young man and said, listen, you guys can own a car just like that as well. And they never considered it. And so they was like, man, I will never own a car like that. And he said, yeah, you can. He said, it's not as difficult as you think. And so he gave them some pointers and told them to get their credit right and some things. So today is one of those days where you guys get to meet a group of women who have excelled in their career and taken their career to the next level. And they're here to let you ladies know that the things that they've accomplished, that you guys can accomplish as well. So, ladies, will y'all grab that microphone? And so I'm just going to ask some general questions initially, and I'm going to ask some specific questions. Those microphones are hot. I love it. Ms. Pope, started playing in Carthage. So are you born and raised in Carthage, I'm assuming?
Yes, born and raised in Carthage.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'll tell you, y'all need those other two mics, because you just push that little button down until you guys are ready to talk, because those mics are really, really, really hot, which is a good thing. Okay, born and raised in Carthage. Now, so Carthage. So this is your school. Yes. This is your school, Carthage High School. Carthage High School. Yeah. All right. Well, good. And so not only did you also played for Panola College. So tell us about that. What was it like? You played basketball here at Carthage High School. Were you good in high school?
Actually, my career started in the 7th grade, or my lack of one. I got cut in the 7th grade. I tried out in the 8th grade. I got cut.
Wow.
So actually, I didn't make the team until I came into the 9th grade year. I grew about 3 inches between my 8th grade and 9th grade year that summer, and I finally made the team as a 9th grader.
So how tall are you now? How tall are you now?
I'm 5'10".
5'10". All right. And so you made the team your 9th grade year. How did you overcome that? Because you got cut 2 years in a row. I mean, that was pretty. I know if it were me, I would be devastated. So how did you overcome that to go back and try out again your 9th grade year? How did you overcome that?
I was determined, disappointed, but I would watch the other girls who had made the team, and I saw no difference between what they could do and I felt like I could do, and I just was determined that I was going to keep at it until they gave me an opportunity to try.
And then after high school, you went to Panola. That's when you went to Panola. So you played for Panola. What position did you play at Panola?
I was a guard at Panola. Actually, during my time, basketball was 3-on-3. It wasn't 5-on-5. There were guards.
Whoa, slow down. Yeah, you took us way back. You took us way back. So basketball was 3-on-3.
Yes, back then the idea was that women or girls weren't strong enough to play the game full court. So they had it divided into half. 3 players would be guards and they would stay on half court. And then another 3 players would be the forwards and they would be on half court. So my job was to defend, rebound, dribble the ball to half court, and then pass it across to our forwards.
Wow, that was a real game.
It was a real game. So the transition from high school playing at 3-on-3 to college where it was 5-on-5 as it is today was a big transition. So I came in as a guard because I had no idea how to shoot the basketball.
And so apparently you did well. You did well, and you were recruited. I'm assuming you were recruited with Nebraska Wranglers.
Yes.
Or did you go to Texas A&M first?
Texas A&M.
Okay, with the Texas A&M. Tell us about that transition.
It was a big transition. I went to Panola after I left high school, so making that, I'd never been basically out of Carthage. So making that transition from Panola to Texas A&M was a big one. By then I had learned all the aspects of the game where I was pretty good at shooting. And making that transition from Panola to Texas A&M was a good one. By then I had my confidence, both in myself and in the game of basketball, that I could excel at it. So making that transition to College Station, playing at that level was, the only hard part was just leaving Panola, having never been away from home. It took me a minute, but after that it was smooth sailing.
And I learned that you were the first black female player on the Texas A&M team. Was that correct?
Yes.
So tell us about that. I mean, that had to be. Was that tough? Was that an easy transition? Were you welcomed and accepted, or were you? How was that transition for you?
It was a transition. I was welcome with my team members there. It was different. I recognized right away that I was in a position where I had to set the bar, set the standards for those who would come behind me. So I spent a lot of time focusing on getting better at basketball and excelling in the classroom so that I wouldn't be one of those that got sent back home because I couldn't get it done in the classroom. So I felt the pressure of being the only black there. But it also gave me the motivation to get better and to set the groundwork for those who would come behind me.
Well, y'all give it up for Miss Peggy. There you go. Congratulations. So we'll talk about your professional career in just a few moments. I want to go to Miss Swindell. Miss Swindell, where are you from, Miss Swindell? Well, where'd you go to high school?
I'm from Carthage Bulldogs Rival at Center, Texas, Center High School.
Come on, y'all can get our hands. It's okay.
I would say that it was Carthage that really made me the player I am.
Wow.
Because when I graduated high school in '79, and she was in '76, so she was behind me. So I played the same half court that she did, and when I got to high school, Carthage was the best team in the district.
Yeah.
What's up, Carthage? Come on, y'all. What's up?
So that first year, and she talked, I didn't play competitive basketball until I was in high school. We didn't have it in junior high. Okay, so that first year they beat us. Carthage beat us twice, and I think we maybe lost the third game that my freshman year. But my sophomore year, in DK's, let me say after you, and I'll let you tell your story. Because we played at the same high school. So the sophomore year, we came in and we finally took, we took Carthage down. So I just want you to know, you were my motivation. The fact that y'all beat us.
All right, there you go. Very good. And you played at the University of Texas.
Yes.
And also the first African-American female to play at the University of Texas as well.
Yes.
We don't give her a hand. I see it. So what was that transition like? Were you welcome, accepted, or were you, did you sense the tension?
Well, like she said, the transition for basketball was one thing, because the first year that we had the first year I played full court competitively was at the University of Texas, because in high school I had played on the defensive end, passing the ball to DK on the offensive end. So my transition was to just scoring, just playing full court, but I didn't feel it was that difficult for me because, we played at home in backyards and cow pastures. We played all the time, even though, competitively it was just defensive side of the ball. The coach that recruited me was Rodney Page. He was an African-American coach. So even though the school was predominantly, white, it was easy for me, I think, because I had a black coach. So I didn't feel a lot of the racial tension that might have been possible, I don't guess. But I'm thinking if a coach recruits you to come play there, you should be good with them anyway, right? No matter what color, right?
That's right.
And after the first year, and I guess let me throw this in, when I went, they didn't have athletic scholarships. I went on an academic scholarship.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Very good.
So when he recruited me, there were some scholarships available, and he asked that I apply for it because they didn't have the money at that time athletically to support, to pay for my college. And later on, I was able to get an athletic scholarship to go with that. I think I forgot your question.
No, it's all good. Y'all give it up for Miss Retha Swindell. Y'all give that for her. Very good. Now, you did a great job. You answered the question. Miss Debra Thomas, welcome aboard. So, Miss Thomas, tell us where you're from. Where do you derive from?
I'm from Center, Texas. I graduated in 1974. As Retha said before, she was a teammate of mine. And from that,
So play basketball starting at which grade?
9th grade.
9th grade.
And like Retha, I played, got all my learning from the backyard, neighbor's house. And I played my first game as a freshman. I was on, back then they were called A team and B team. And I made that A team. That's what I was told the day before. And then the day of the game, she told me I was going to be on the B team. I was hurt.
Oh, wow.
I was upset. So we played ball that night. And that night I had 28 points.
Wow. Come on, y'all. That's very good.
The next practice we had, I was told I was back on the 8 team. And since then, I've started every game that I've ever played.
That's what's up. Also played at Panola Junior College.
Yes. At Panola Junior College, I was All-Regional, All-American. In fact, I was the first black All-American at Panola Junior College.
Wow. Come on, y'all. That's good.
And while at the junior college, I tried out for the Olympic team. And there was 230 girls that tried out. Of the 230 girls, Retha and myself, we made it to the final 15 crew.
Wow, very good. And you went on to play for Stephen F. Austin as well.
Yes, as well. I made All-Regional, All-American there also. And while there, Retha and I both, we stayed together a lot. We played ball a lot together. We tried out for the ABA USA team. a select team that traveled overseas to Asia. We made that team, was gone for the whole summer, and that was a great experience for us, playing ball in Korea, China, Japan.
Oh, wow.
And then when we got back, that's when we found out we were drafted.
Oh, wow. Man, that sounds really good. So now in your bio says that you won the Wade Trophy. Tell us about the Wade Trophy.
No, I didn't. I didn't win it, but I was nominated.
Nominated, okay.
And that Wade Trophy is for the top players in the nation.
Wow.
They only had 10 players for that, and I was one of those teams.
Y'all give her a hand. Very good. These ladies are from the elite. Now, so this question is for anybody who's willing to answer. Tell us, now this may be obvious, but I don't know the answer. What is the difference between the WBL and the WNBA? What's the difference?
Right.
The WBL was the first women's professional basketball league. It was the league that jump-started women trying to take their game to the next level once they finished playing college basketball. It started 10 years before the WNBA came into existence.
Wow. So still on a professional level?
Still on a professional level. The WNBL lasted 3 seasons before it folded. And you wouldn't have a professional team again for another 8 years when the ABA came into existence. And the ABA only lasted 1 season before the WNBA became the dominant professional team. And it's still 20 years strong now.
Ms. Pope, very good. You signed with the Nebraska Wranglers, is that correct? So what was that like for you? Was that a team that you had watched, or were you surprised to receive that letter? I mean, tell us what was that like for you?
Finding out that I had been drafted was really exciting. I was getting ready to graduate from Texas A&M. That was my focus. And then I got a call that I had been drafted. Actually, I was drafted by a team called the Minnesota Wolves. And that, by the time the draft actually happened, that team had already folded.
Oh, wow.
So I had an opportunity to get moved over to the Nebraska Wranglers draft camp. And it was a great experience. Rosie Walker, who was supposed to be one of the speakers here as well, she and I got drafted by the same team. So us having an opportunity to play together for the Nebraska Wranglers was special.
So you had to leave East Texas and you went to Nebraska. Was that a culture shock?
Yes, it was definitely a culture shock to go from, I left College Station, right? I didn't even have a chance to graduate. I was still about a couple of months short before graduation. So I left and went to Nebraska, and it was definitely an experience having not been out of Texas at that point. It was my first trip outside the state of Texas.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations. All the way to Nebraska. Ms. Swindell, you were drafted by the Chicago Hustle. So tell us about draft day for you. What was that like for you?
I was still at Texas. I had to finish up school. So Doug Bruno, he was a coach at Chicago, and he told me that they hear about you word of mouth. You didn't have the media that you have now. So all of us were drafted because somebody told them that we were worth taking a chance on,
wow,
basically. And I still had to finish my student teaching, so he knew that I was going to join the team late. I didn't come until after Thanksgiving in December when I joined the team. So he said that he thought I would have been drafted higher, but everybody knew that I was going to finish school first. Because at that time, it's not like Zion just finished, he left school, because he's got his career taken care of. I knew that I was probably going to have to still work to make ends meet. So for me, it was an exciting time, but my primary goal was to finish school. And then I went to Chicago and I joined the team late, like the bio said that the young lady read for me. And, you know, it was difficult because they already pretty much knew each other because I got married late.
Yeah.
And so I felt, you know, a little pressure to try to do more. So, you know, I just worked really hard, and of course I did make the team. But Chicago was very cold. I lived by myself on this third floor apartment that didn't have an elevator. I was a little scared, and I would walk to the L to catch the train to practice at DePaul. That's where we played in practice. And I remember trying to look mean so I would scare anybody. I put my big hood on walking to practice, but it was exciting. I know everybody here is too young to know, but there are a couple of NBA players that played at DePaul that we practiced with, like Mark McGuire and Terry Cummings. They were there in college at the same time. We were working out. But it was exciting. You know, it was a lot of fun. We played on WGN-TV, so our games were televised, so people in center could see me play. And it was exciting.
Very good. Very good. Now, some young lady will probably watch this recording one day. What do you say to the young people who aspire to go professional, but they're in college, and maybe they're being recruited in college? You decided to stay, finish the degree, and then go into the professional league. Well, what do you say to the young people who are in college? They want the professionalism, but they've got a choice to make, whether to stay in college, finish the degree, or leave college and go into the professional realm. Well, what do you say to that?
For me, it's a personal choice. For me, that was a choice that was right for me. I think that the degree was special for me, coming from university. But when I see kids in college that leave school to go play, I don't hold it against them because that's what they want to do.
Sure.
But, you know, unless you're making a great deal of money to me, I would rather finish my degree. But if I was going to be making millions when I came out, well, to me, you've done your job. You went to college, now you have a nice $1 million job, you go to the job. That's how I see that. But I just say that would be a personal opinion, but that's what I would have done.
Very, very good answer. Very good answer. Very good answer. Miss Debra, the Iowa Hornets. Am I saying that name right? You got it.
Iowa Hornets.
Hornets. Iowa Hornets. So tell us about draft day for you.
Draft day for me was like a Sunday morning at 7 o'clock.
So wait. A Sunday morning at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, you got to help us with that.
I got a phone call from a cousin of mine, and he woke me up. He said, "Hey, congratulations." I said, "For what?" He said, "You've been drafted to play in the WNBA." I said, "Man, we don't have no pro team." He said, "Yes, we do." I said, "No, we don't." He said, "Well, you go get a newspaper." Then I got up, we got a Shreveport Times, came back home, read the paper. Oh, there it was. I had been drafted by the Iowa.
So you didn't know?
I didn't know
that you had been drafted.
It was like 2 or 3 days later, and the coach calls me and told me that I had been drafted. They wanted me to come up to Iowa. They were going to send me a ticket, and I'd have to try out. Even though you were drafted, you still had to try out.
Okay.
And while being there, they was making a movie called Dribble with Pistol Pete Maravich. And he asked me, did I want to be in it? I'm like, yeah, sure. I got paid for it. Within 15 minutes, I made $200. So that was how I got the word that I was drafted.
So I mean, was that shocking? Was it?
Yes, it was.
So were you still in school at the time?
No, I was out.
You was out of school, and so you got drafted. You go home, you fly. What was the flight like to Iowa? I mean, that
was my first flight. It's kind of scary, but it was well worth it.
So when you get to the airport, who's there to meet you at the airport?
The coaches were there to meet me and then take me to the hotel that we were staying at. They had everybody staying at the same place.
Sure. And then practice. A tryout.
Tryouts were easy, piece of cake. The movie was nice, but That's what it was.
That's what it was. So how long did each of you stay in the professional league? How long did y'all stay? And each of you just take a moment. Just
2 years.
I was at Chicago for 1 year, and then I went to Dallas. Actually, I was traded to Milwaukee. Milwaukee folded. I became a free agent, so I was able to come back home and play at Dallas. And that's where we got to play against Nebraska in the playoffs against Peggy.
Do you remember her on the court? Do you remember her?
No. She had this was left-handed, I believe. Jump shot.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting. We had Nancy Lieberman was our marquee player.
Wow.
And so it was exciting. We had a lot of fun. They beat us in the finals. You know, we can talk about why that happened later. You know, but that was. But the thing I wanted to add to it also was because DK played the very first year, and I came in the second and the third year. So
wow.
She's the only one that was in the league when it started.
Oh, wow.
And all of those ladies, you know, that started that first year, most of them weren't the big name marquee players like Ann Myers. She didn't play. Carol Blazers, she didn't play. Because, you know, they all wanted to wait and play in the Olympics, and they didn't want to lose their amateurism, their, you know, amateur status. So that first year, it was formed by a lot of no-name, really good athletes from East Texas.
Wow. Very good. Now, you had the opportunity to coach Teresa Witherspoon, is that correct?
Yes, when the league folded that third year, I had to get a normal job. I couldn't just run around visiting all my friends during the off season. So I heard that I think I got a job at John Tyler. And while I was at John Tyler, there's a guy named Wagstaff. I think the gym's named for him up at Tyler. I've worked with his daughter. And he has a brother named Wagstaff in Pineland, which is where Teresa played. And they said they needed a coach. And so I applied for the position. And that's how I ended up coaching Teresa Witherspoon, now WNBA legend. You know, she's going into the Naismith Hall of Fame this year, so y'all be sure and watch it.
Very good.
And she still works with the Liberty on the coaching staff. She also works with some of the NBA players. She's enjoying it. I don't know if she'll ever come back to the Piney Woods.
Yeah. Ms. Pope, tell us, same question. How long were you in the league, and just kind of give us a little bit of background on your career?
I came in the final year of its existence. The WBL was 3 years, and I came in on the final year of its existence. We did win the championship. It was Nebraska Wranglers and the Dallas Diamonds for the championship that last year. So after the league folded, I came back and spent a couple of years at, 1 year as a matter of fact, at College Station, and then I had an opportunity to get into coaching at the collegiate level. I was at Rice University as assistant coach and recruiting coordinator for 7 years, and I left Rice and went across the street to University of Houston, and I was there for a few years, and then I had an opportunity to do both. When I came back to Carthage in 2000, on my way back, I got a phone call from Greg Williams, who was his assistant at Rice. He had recently accepted the job in the WNBA. The WNBA by now was in existence, and I wanted an opportunity to be a part of that. So I got a call from him after having accepted the Carthage high school job, and he offered me the assistant position in the WNBA with the Detroit Shock. So I had a conversation with the superintendent here, and he allowed me to do both. So I would leave in April, and head to Detroit to coach at the WNBA, and I would come back in September to take over the team here at Carthage. So I did that.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Now I've got two more questions, and before I ask those questions, I want you guys, the audience, to start preparing your questions because they are prepared to field questions from you guys. So anything that is in your heart or on your mind that you would like to ask them, so just be prepared for that. After I'm done with these two questions, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. You'll speak your question. I'll repeat it, and then these ladies will be more than happy to answer whatever question you guys have. Okay, question number one. WNBA, how are you seen by your families now? Are you seen as stars? How are you seen by your family, by the community? How are people seeing you now that you guys are away? Somebody said yes, tell us.
I'm just regular old Peggy. There has been no distinction. Initially, when I came back to Carthage after having been away and advancing in my coaching career, there was the awe of me moving back. But after a while, it was just I'm hometown, and I just kind of blended right back into being hometown.
Yeah. So no cousin is saying, "Hey, send me some money and buy me a car." And, yeah, I need a house and an airplane. Nothing like that.
Salaries weren't like that.
Okay. And that was actually my second question. What was it like? Because I know that from the she's putting Miss Debra put her head down. So from I guess from the way we see celebrity and professional sports now, I'm sure that there's probably a huge difference. So just why don't you just share with us the difference of that that salary? How was it when you were going in at that time?
My salary was about the same as what I would have made if I had started teaching.
Wow.
And teaching salaries at that time were something like $15,000. Now you can make $70,000 if you teach at Goose Creek, where I live, Baytown. With about 20 years experience, you can easily make $71,000 teaching. But back then, it was in the teens. So that was one of the reasons that I wouldn't leave school to go play. It's like, I have to make sure that I can take care of myself. And still the salaries discrepancies they exist now. Because you talk about the soccer team playing right now. They talk about how, their salaries are so much lower than the men. The WNBA salaries are there's just a big discrepancy between them. And, that's something I think we as people have to work on and try to change. I guess it goes back from women making 70 cents on every dollar.
Yeah. Ms. Debra, same thing for you?
Yes. For me, the salary wasn't, like I said, wasn't all that. Me personally, I was just happy to play.
Wow.
The money didn't matter that much. I mean, I get up every day and go to practice 2 hours, then I have the rest of the day.
Yeah.
To me, it was easy money.
Yeah.
Doing what I like to do, traveling. And when we travel, everything was paid for. So, hey, I was living the best life.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about. So the moral of the story is that you ladies did it because of the love of the game, and you felt passionate about the game. And so I said two questions, but this is not necessarily a question, but speak to passion, because I think that many times a lot of young people are chasing the money. They're trying to go where the money is versus following their passion. So speak to that, and that transcends to all sports, not just basketball, but that transcends to all sports. So speak to a young person about pursuing something they're passionate about.
Well, it was definitely a passion for the women during that time period. It was not about the salaries. It was definitely a love for the game. As a matter of fact, for our championship game, we had received like 2 paychecks. So we were all gathered before the championship game to decide if we were even going to take the floor to play the championship game to force the owners to give us our paychecks
Wow.
before we played. But the passion and the love for the game in that locker room was overwhelming. There was no question that we were going to play. And we did, not knowing if we would ever get a paycheck, and we didn't. So the championship game ended, and we left, ended the season with still being owed 3 paychecks that we were behind.
Wow.
And we never received our championship ring.
Wow.
And we lost the game, we got paid.
Oh. Maybe Nebraska should have lost that game.
Every team I ever played on, I was fortunate enough that I never missed a check. So I was lucky.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of teams that, that folded, never got paid. But Chicago Hustle, Dallas Diamonds, they paid on time.
Yeah, you probably got paid because of your hoodie, because you was wearing that hoodie all the time. That's probably make sure you got paid. Yeah, but very good. We all give these ladies a round of applause. They got a great job. Now, what question do you have? Raise your hand and ask your question aloud. Yes, sir.
I don't particularly have a question, but I just wanted to let these 3 women know that I am so proud and so honored to be here this morning for you guys to be recognized and to not take lightly who you are in this community and in the state of Texas. You are truly 3 phenomenal women.
All right. Very well said. Very well said. Very well said. And I think that's sending echoes for all of us. We're so honored to have you ladies here. Next
You're gonna make
question.
us cry.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment for Miss Peggy up there. My daughter, Jasmine Chase, was on your team in high school. And she used to play ball with that ball way stuck way out. And the other team would always grab it from her. I said, Jasmine, I know you can play, but then you hold that ball close to you so you can just snatch it. They won't snatch it until she started playing. And I thank Miss Peggy for the great person that she got on the field. Her number was number 50. And they played a great team, and I appreciated everything.
All right. I like stories like that. We love stories like that. Yeah, great testimony. Next question or comment. Next question or comment. Next person. Ask them anything. Okay, yes, ma'am.
I also thank all the things that the ladies were saying. We're so proud that you chose to come here today and share your story. And I know that each of you spoke of the discrepancy in the sport, but as coaches, did you have any discrepancy as coaching too? Meaning your pay, compared to other male coaches?
Very good question. The question was, you ladies talked about discrepancy in receiving pay. As players, did you guys have any discrepancy as being female coaches compared to the other male counterparts?
Well, I only coached in high school, so that was done by, we had the salary, so it would have been the same. Of course, football always made more than everybody in high school, but as far as the basketball, that was pretty much the same. But I'm sure in college that was probably a little different.
At the collegiate level, the coaching is, even today, there's a disparity between the men and the women coaches. A lot of it is based on attendance and how many people that you're putting in the stands. Coaching at the Division I level, which is the highest level that you can coach at, the salaries are pretty much even. Not among men and women, but among women at the D1 level. Nowadays, all D1 coaches are well over in 6 figures. That wasn't the case when I was coaching 20 years ago at that level. But the discrepancy exists still with men and women's salaries at the collegiate level.
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. Very good. Very good. Yeah, y'all can clap. That's a good place to clap. Next question.
What were your majors in college?
What were your majors? What did you major in college?
I majored in, I have a double in math and PE. When I was in high school, I thought I wanted to be a computer science major, so that's what I started out in, so I had a lot of math already, so it just carried over. But basically, because we didn't have really good counselors at the time, so I really didn't know what I wanted until I graduated. I think what I really liked to have been doing was something in engineering, like I like electronics and stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Mine was physical therapy until I did my intern at the VA hospital in Houston. And first day after that, I changed my major.
Tell us why. That's interesting. Why did you change your major?
Well, my first patient was a burn patient, and I had to put him in the pool and scrub the burn. Yeah, that was my last.
That was it. You realized that was not for you.
So I switched my major. At that point, I decided to go into coaching, and I switched my major to health and physical education.
Very good. Very good.
My major was physical education and mounted in health.
Mounted in health. And you stayed with it. Stayed with that. You didn't change.
No.
Okay, good. Very good. Next question. Next question or comment? And or comment? Next question and or comment? If there's nothing else, just before Ms. Sharon comes, ladies, again, we are recording this, and so each of you take about 60 seconds and look into that camera, and I want you just to share. There will be some young people, especially some young ladies, who will be watching you guys later on social media, listening to the things that you guys have said, not just basketball, but all sports, volleyball, soccer. I think one of you ladies mentioned soccer, but speak to them. If there was a message that you would like to give to the young boys and girls who are out there right now, who are wondering what to do with their lives, they want to go professional, want to go to college, what would you say, what message would you want to leave with them today? If you're just looking at camera, just take about 60 seconds, each of you, and just kind of share a message with the young people that will be listening.
I would say just to believe in yourself. A lot of times you tend to see all the negative things around you. Try to focus on the things that are good, and just do what you're supposed to do as far as your classes. Make sure you do your best in everything you do, and just don't give up, don't get discouraged, and just always believe in yourself. I think that's the hardest thing for kids to do, is just to know that they can make mistakes, and it's okay. Just because you don't succeed right away, don't give up on yourself. Know that you are the opportunity that exists for all of us in the world. That we look at you, what you do and your success is going to define pretty much our future, because you're going to be the one coming behind us.
Very good, very good.
I would tell the youth out there to dream big. Don't feel like you are limited because you grew up in a small town. Their opportunities are there for you just like they are for any other young girl or boy that's wanting something out of life. Decide that you want to follow your dream and go after it. Don't listen to the naysayers who may discourage you because you are from a small town, or you don't have the advantage, or you can't afford to go to college. There are opportunities for anything that you want to do, and all you need to do is apply yourself, find out what those opportunities are, and dream and go make it happen.
Very good, very good, very good.
First of all, I would tell the youth, put God first. That's right. Put God in your life. Keep your mind on what you want to do and do it. Pursue those things. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Just say, I can, I will. And do those things. But never forget where you come from. Always keep God on your mind.
Very good. Now, one last time, give it up for these ladies. They've done an amazing job. Thank you, ladies. This has been amazing. I've learned so much from each of you. I'm inspired because you guys are here today. So again, thank you so much. All right, I'm Eric Love, and I've been privileged to be your coordinator for today. Now, will you give it up for Ms. Sharon Jones as she comes to the Executive Director of Open Team Show.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Thank you, ladies. We really appreciate appreciate you taking out your time and effort to come to the biggest little town in Texas.
Yeah.
All right. But we have a special guest with us, and he is Mr. John Wink. He is the new superintendent of Carthage ISD. And I put him on the spot, so.
Well, thank you for coming today. Isn't it wonderful when our alumni come back and they can tell us wonderful stories about their personal success and the things that they've done? Let's give them a big round of applause. You know, the future is always based on the foundation of those that came before us. And I think that the greatest stories that can be told are the stories about people who did not let their situation determine their permanent destination. And one of the things that I think is really important for our students to understand is that you're a product of what you expect of yourself. You are not a product of your situation. You're not a product of anything other than what your mind says I'm going to accomplish. And there are 3 outstanding examples of when you set a high expectation for yourself and you don't allow anything to pull you down from it. Because every expectation we have is great. Every expectation we have is high. But the thing of it is that in this life, there are people that don't have expectations high for themselves. And so to make themselves feel better, they try to bring us down from our own expectations. And so the whole point behind this excellent teen choice is that you can't have excellence without high expectations and high commitment to those expectations. So my hope for you, my prayer for you, is that as you hear these stories that keep coming to you of people that have done great, amazing things, that you aspire for something truly great and amazing, because one thing I do know is true, God made you amazing. So keep that in front of you all that. So that's all I got. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. And we have something for you, Mr. Wink. He's an honorary teenager. I don't know if you all understand that these ladies took out the time of their busy schedule and traveling. One came from Longview, the other one came from Houston, and then the other one came from all the way from Carthage. So we appreciate them, and ladies, here you go. And we're also presenting them with the excellent Teen Choice shirts as well. Okay. And of course, there's our pink with sparklies. Okay, can y'all stay behind them and we're going to get a picture with you guys? Can you hold up your... Thank you. Okay, thank you, ladies. We're going to ask Zaretta to come on up, and ladies, you're going to be interviewed by Channel 7 News out of Tyler. And hey, that's good that they came all the way here again, 2 years in a row. So we appreciate Michael Coleman. I don't know where he is, but actually, oh, there he is. Actually, today is his day off. Tuesdays are his days off, and he came last week and this week. So let's give it up for Mr. Coleman. And I got calls last, I think it was Sunday night. Did you see the interview? And I don't have Channel 7 at home, but I'm working on it. Okay, Serena, come on, let's do the door prizes. And then we're gonna get out of here. We do have lunch for you all. We appreciate it. The next time we meet will be July the 9th. That's on a Tuesday. And our guest speaker will be none other than Eric Love. Okay? I encourage you to please have your teenagers, because he has a message for them. He is an awesome minister, and he's also a part of Excellent Teen Choice, and he is the one that goes into the classrooms here at Carthage High in Longview, Kilgore, or wherever, and he teaches abstinence. And so we all want to be abstinent. I'm looking at my little nieces down here.
One, two, three, go.